So ChatGPT 4 just came out, and I used it to solve one of my life's biggest challenges in just a couple hours. I'm going to share with you exactly how I did it and how you can do it too. So my life is a bit overwhelming. This is my Slack channel here, and I got a lot going on. This is where I run my wholesaling business and my marketing agency. And I have tons of read messages all the time. As you can see, there's 9 plus, there's 30 messages of which I have not gotten to yet. Now, on top of that, I have my YouTube channel, obviously. So I have all these Discord groups that I'm in to make YouTube videos. On top of that, I also have work in my Asana project, of which I manage all my work projects. So not just communication, but everything that I have going on with my tasks that I keep track of, all this kind of stuff. All right. On top of that, I work at Carrot as well. If you don't know, I work at Carrot. So take all of this and double it. I have their own Slack, own Asana, all this other stuff. On top of that, I am moving across the country later this year. And it's a lot. There's a lot going on here with my life. So anyway, what I did was this. I was trying, basically, I'm feeling a sense of frustration, but let me back it up a little bit. So with ChatGPT, I paid for the ChatGPT Plus right here, right? Boom. And I've been journaling. So I journal, I've been journaling like 2 or 3 times a week for the past couple years. Okay. I have a coach that I've been working with, like a performance coach. And what I decided to do, because now ChatGPT 4, I can plug in larger inputs. So I took 3 months of my journal entries. I plugged them into this chatbot here. So I just plugged in tons of different things, all in here, everything in there, and boom. So I told it my business goals. I gave it things I'm worried about, what's on it just literally stream of consciousness and context for what my life is going on here. So, and I basically was like, hey, take the persona ChatGPT of a world-class therapist, psychologist, and performance coach. So take the persona of that, analyze everything I've written down, and tell me what are the biggest challenges in my life. And then it did. And it proceeded to tell me things like, hey, I can see that you're overwhelmed. You have a lot of change going on. And that's basically like in a nutshell. There's a couple other things. I was like, boom, like, hey, Tim, you seek too much external validation for things. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is getting pretty heavy here. But that's a whole other conversation. The point is that it was very clear to me. It's like, hey, Tim, I now understand you. I've analyzed everything, and ChatGPT told me the biggest challenge I have was that I was feeling overwhelmed. And I was like, okay, you're right. Obviously, I am feeling overwhelmed. There's everything going on. I can't keep up with all my stuff to do. So what do I do about it? That's why I asked it. What do I do about this? And it told me that I need to prioritize better. And I said, okay, well, here's my to-do list. And I basically compiled everything I have, all my to-dos, everything in here. There's like probably 100 things. And I asked it, what is the one thing? So if you haven't read the book, The One Thing, it basically says, hey, the best way to be the most effective is to look at your to-do list and ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? So I asked it that question. Here's my to-do list, ChatGPT. What could I do that would make everything else easier or unnecessary? And you know what it said right here? It said, the one thing that you can do is establish a clear system for prioritizing, delegating, and automating your tasks. By doing this, you'll be able to identify high priority tasks, delegate them, automate repetitive tasks, and create a better balance between your work and your life, which now it knows about because I literally read all my effing journal entries. So it knows I want to manage my time, and I'd be better equipped to manage everything I have going on and to achieve my goals that I put. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So what did I proceed to do? I proceeded to then ask it questions about, okay, well, how do I create this system? And I copy pasted things in a doc, and I said, okay, well, let's take all the things where I have my stuff going on, all the emails, calendar, all the things I just showed you. And I said, okay, help me with my virtual assistant. Let's create this process. So I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a process. And this is a bit sloppy here, but we're going to define priority levels. We're going to establish how to evaluate what is important and what isn't important. We're going to create a decision-making flow chart. We're going to train your virtual assistant, and then we're going to spend time with them and have regular communication and feedback. And I was like, okay, great. Now what's the next step? What do I do? I said, okay, well, first we need to create a decision-making flow chart. All right, so how do I actually prioritize? How do I train my VA to even know what to prioritize in my schedule? And it even gave me a sample flow chart here of, with code, I guess, of like, hey, yeah, here's how you can do it. This is obviously a very simple one. But I said, hey, create a flow chart, determine what questions. And I was like, okay, well, I have this flow chart now, but what are the actual questions that I want to be asking? Not just, is this important? Is this high impact? So I said, okay, here are the questions that you should be including in your flow chart. Is it urgent? Is there a deadline for completing the task? How important is it? How critical is it? Does it align with my long-term objectives? Will it have a significant positive effect on my life? How much effort is it going to take? Is it dependent on other tasks? And can I delegate it to someone else? So, okay, great. Step in the right direction. So I met with my VA and basically determined, what are the most important things. We just brainstormed. I was like, hey, VA, I had worked with ChatGPT. Here's what I got. Help me do the rest. So we brainstormed for 15 minutes. Said, okay, well, if something is important, it's going to be either losing clients, losing money, losing time, or hurting people, or hurting our health. And what is important is making money, kind of the opposite, right? And so there's this thing called the Eisenhower matrix. Stick with me here, people. Stick with me. Where basically you take all of your priorities. This is something I've been doing already, but I haven't been doing it very well. I've been doing a bad job at it, which is why I have the problem in the first place. But you write everything down, and then you put it into categories of not important, important, urgent, or not urgent. And then basically all the stuff that you have that's important and urgent, you do. But I had so many things, it just takes so long to do this, and it was just overwhelming me. So now I have this process in place that ChatGPT-4 helped me build. It can basically, we basically created this system here of which now my VA has access to my tasks, which I'm doing. She knows exactly how to prioritize everything I have going on using this process here that I'm showing you. And then the next step is, estimating the time to complete it and then time blocking it on my calendar. So I just want you to understand here, everybody, that in the span of a couple hours, I told ChatGPT basically everything about me that I've been thinking about for 3 months. It told me the biggest problem in my life and then gave me the solution for it and then executed that solution. And it literally took 1 day. And this is, this is what a performance coach literally does. And I would know I have a performance coach, but they did it in 1 day. So I just want you to see how powerful this stuff really is. It's game changing, and ChatGPT is my new world-class performance coach that I have. And I highly recommend, among a million other things, that you try using ChatGPT to be your performance coach too. Thanks.